I'm Mark Boldazar, and if you're just joining us, I'm here today with Dr. Joseph Lancaster, talking about his Gnostic pneumatherapy. And Dr. Lancaster, you were talking about the example of a car. Could you expand a little bit on the car, explain a little bit more what that's about?
Well, how about if I say the same thing with a different twist? So, but we'll loop back to that card. So, think of yourself in a castle tower, and there's 4 windows. There's the sensation window, the thinking window, the feeling window, and the intuition window. So our ego, our daily consciousness, wills itself through those 4 windows, those 4 functions of our psyche. So, maybe a little stereotypical here. Obviously, there's exceptions, but let's say that men are more thinkers. So if a man is looking out of the thinking window in the way that he deals with reality, both as he looks outside into the courtyard as well as within, that's great, but the only thing is that's like being a horse with blinders on, because all the other windows are closed or ajar at best. The divine wants all the windows open to let all the light in, as I was saying earlier about the importance of the light in the bulb, right, to shine out. And therefore we become more whole, a more rounded out person, because sometimes we're going to be dealing with certain people or certain situations where it's better to be emotional and not just a thinker, right? So for example, if a man could be more in touch with his feeling function, then he can better relate to his wife, let's say.
So that would be, so if I hear that in with the 4 windows and the light bulb before we get back to the car, that would be like maybe painting black over the light bulb so not all the light comes out, or light would only come out in certain spots instead of all the windows, all the aspects that you described.
Right. So really together we are already describing the car in a sense, because a car's got to have at least 4 cylinders, right, in order to get down the road.
Right.
So with those 4 cylinders, which is also a symbol of balance, by the way, the number 4, by having that wholeness, that balance, and therefore we have freedom from suffering or causing suffering. See, this is why this is important. By having all those windows open, by having the 4 cylinders up and running within us, therefore the car not only gets down the road, but it can even accelerate and go faster. You see, more power in the bulb, more light in the world, because you have it within, and therefore you're able to give it organically, naturally.
That's fascinating. So what now does, a person on this pathway, what does that look like now for a person on this pathway?
So, as I just described, when a person has cultivated that light within themselves, then it's like they are, let's say in the Star Wars example, they are the Yoda, they are the Obi-Wan Kenobi. And since this Gnostic pneumatherapy book that I'm writing, this path work, is for professionals to utilize with their patients as well, the therapist, the mentor, is like the Yoda or Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's trying to have their patient, their initiate, by the way, initiate means new awareness, new beginning. They're trying to help their patient, the initiate, like Luke Skywalker, to eventually become the Yoda, to eventually become the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Or like Frodo in Lord of the Rings, becoming like Gandalf.
I love these examples. This is outstanding, fascinating. So, again, I'm Mark Boldazar. I'm here with Dr. Joseph Lancaster. If you're just joining us, after the break, we're gonna touch on the second of the 2 most basic questions that his Gnostic pneumatherapy helps his people on the pathway come to an understanding and explain.
Very good.